What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prizepicks NBA player props video. This one we're going to be breaking it down, giving you guys two six-pick flexes to get you winning some money over here on Prizepicks tonight in the NBA. Hopefully you tuned into my live stream yesterday as we all doubled our money and didn't 25 extra money because Michael Malone benched Michael Porter Jr. the whole entire fourth quarter because he turned the ball over at the end of the third. So hopefully you tuned in yesterday. Hopefully you enjoy the content. If you do, would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. It is free. It takes 2 seconds to do it. That's greatly helped me out. And YouTube is telling me that 59.2% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Only 40.8% that watch it are subscribed. So help me out with that. It takes 2 seconds. I'm going to keep helping you guys out with these videos for free all NBA season long. And if you would like to double your money every night and complain about it, you can download the Prizepicks app and use the promo code KJKDFS to receive your first match up to $100, as I did last night. So this was my night last night. The slip I shared with you on the Michael Porter Jr. six-man, he got sat the whole fourth, right? This was the other six-man that I got hooked on and that I sent into my VIP members that we got hooked on, I should say, where Alperen Sengun went over by 1 rebound. And last but not least, Anthony Edwards was another one. Here's another hook for you guys last night. And last but not least, Anthony Edwards at the end of the game, in a game that was a blowout for the Minnesota Timberwolves, went in and dunked the basketball in a meaningless play and then proceeded to get subbed out of the game. So he went over his fantasy score by 0.2. So that was my night last night. It was pretty fun. If you want to join the VIP and get access to every single one of my tickets as soon as I place them, that'll be linked below in the description. Those are all the tickets that I sent in. So if you want to join the chat, there's a lot of resources. I'm going to be giving you a lot of 5 and 6 pick flexes over there as well because they are optimal on Prizepicks. If you didn't know, if you're able to hit at a 55% hit rate or higher on 5 and 6 pick flexes on your individual picks, you're going to profit. Whereas if you were to play other slip types on Prizepicks and hit at that same hit rate, you are not going to profit. So that is going to be what I'm discussing on the video today. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the second six-man that I've locked in today on the video for free in this one, and another one. So it's going to be 2 six-man flexes. They're going to be very similar plays, guys. It's just should these non-fantasy score props get bumped, we're going to run the fantasy as well on these guys because I do have them all projected over. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We will go game by game, as we always do. And the first game that I'd like to discuss is going to be this Cleveland Cavaliers Sacramento Kings game. This game is expected to fly as a 235 over under. It is a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We look at the projected pace in this game. It is coming in with a 99.6 pace metric. So should be a great game environment, a good spot to attack. And the first guy I'd like to discuss is going to be Mr. De'Aaron Fox, who is a very high usage player, and I do like his points, rebounds, and assists prop at the current line that Prizepicks has it set at. Hopefully this prop does not get bumped. If it does, like I said, we'll be pivoting to some fantasy scores for you as well. Ideally, I'd like to have you guys be able to lock this first 6-pick flex in that I'm sharing, but if you can't, I do have these guys all projected over in fantasy scoring as well, so we can pivot, okay, guys? Trae Young, 30% usage rate. De'Aaron Fox, 30% usage rate. Stephen Curry, 30% usage rate. All some of the top point guards in the entire league as far as minutes per game. De'Aaron Fox, 35.6. And he does lead all players on the Sacramento Kings in minutes per game. He's playing 35.6 minutes per game. 27.5 points per game. He's shooting 20.7 times per game. 47% from the field. 7.9 three-pointers attempted per game where he shoots 38% from behind the arc. And he gets to the free throw line a ton. 6.9 times per game where he shoots 72%. From the free throw line to go along with those 4 rebounds and 5.4 assists per game. All right, guys, so this guy can really do it all. And we're looking at some good value on his points, rebounds, and assist prop if you're able to lock it in at 32.5. We go ahead and we pull up the OddsJam Sportsbook screen, guys. This is a tool that's going to pull in all of the market data for any sort of prop that you want to lock in, right? So we can do points plus rebounds plus assists for De'Aaron Fox, and it's going to tell us all the market data, what we're looking at across the industry. If you would like this tool, you can get 35% off with my promo code KJKDFS. I will refer to it frequently throughout my live streams and my videos because it's fantastic at pulling in all the market data for us to reflect on where these lines are set, right? So 32.5, we're looking at minus 146 on Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So they're juicing it pretty heavy at this 32.5 line, and then we scan across the entire market here. A lot of other books, it's a little bit more even, I will say, but that Pinnacle line is what really stood out to me. And the 32.8 average odds with the over at 120.3, we're looking at some good value. On the 32.5 points and rebounds and assists, I would not play this if it gets bumped to 33 even or 33.5. Okay, so I want to be attacking this prop at the 32.5 line. Should he get bumped, once again, like I said, we're going to pivot to the fantasy score, right? And then we look at once again, another tool, fantastic to use, guys, Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. You will hear me refer to these two tools. They both pull in all the market data. You can also get 25% off this tool with my promo code KJKDFS if you're interested in this one. And the best prop on the board right now for Mr. De'Aaron Fox on Prizepicks is the points, rebounds, and assist prop at 32.5 even. Daily Grind's given this a 52.54% chance to hit as of the recording of this video. And once again, we're looking at market data, right, guys? Minus 146 on Pinnacle. He's at 33.5 even on FanDuel, so that line's all the way up. Like I said, we want to attack it at that 32.5 line. Minus 125 on the over DraftKings, minus 125 BetMGM. Caesars, all these books are pulling it in. Fliff has them at minus 135. So we do want to be attacking this line at 32.5 if at all possible. Once again, should he get bumped, Daily Grind also has him going over his fantasy. My projection model also has him going over his fantasy, so we'll pivot to that. All right, that'll be our second 6-pick flex on the video. But for pick number 1, we're rocking with the over 32.5 fantasy. Over 32.5 PRA for De'Aaron Fox. Okay, pick number 2, we like Darius Garland. Darius Garland has been returning from injury. We look at the minutes for this Cleveland Cavaliers team as far as these last couple games. And you will see that his minutes haven't been as high as they have been throughout the season. Why is that? Because he was injured. He's been working his way back from injury, but he does have 3 games under his belt. He's played 20, 24, and 23 minutes in those 3 games, right? So this is going to be his 4th game. He played on the 31st of January, the 1st of February, the 3rd of February. Those minutes are going to start to trend up. And we want to be taking advantage of his lines now, where we can get them at, because they're going to start getting more inflated. And I like his points prop a lot tonight. I like pretty much a lot. I like a lot of Darius Garland's props tonight, but for the sake of the video and for the 6-pick flex that I already locked in that I shared with my VIP members, we are on his points. It is set at 13.5. We once again have a very high usage player, right? Darius Garland, a guy that's rocking a 27% usage rate. We look at his season-long stats on the season. He's second on the team in field goals attempted per game, trailing only Donovan Mitchell. He's going to shoot 15 times per game, 47.1% for the field, 5 threes per game. We're shooting 33.9% from the arc. Does a great job of getting to the line, 4.2 free throws per game, and he converts at an 84.4% rate. These are all good things. Obviously, if we're taking a guy's over points, we would like him to be able to put the basketball in the hoop. That would be ideal. And like I said, we are getting good value at the 13.5 line. If this gets bumped, I would avoid it. But his minutes are going to start to trend upwards. We once again look at some market data over here on OddsJam. What is the market telling us? Where do they have his props set on all of these books that have millions of dollars invested in these players' lines, right? What are they telling us about Darius Garland? They are telling us he has his line set at 13.5 on some books, and he has his line set at 14.5 on some books, right? So I want to be attacking the over on the points at 13.5. He's minus 140 on DraftKings on the over. 14.5 pretty much even with like slight juice on the under on a lot of these books. So what is the market telling us? Essentially, the market's telling us there's a good chance that this man goes out there and scores 14 points, right? But he's favored to score 14, favored to score over 13.5, slightly favored to go under 14.5. So they're saying 14 points, right? So if we can get the line at 13.5, which we can do here, we want to be attacking the over today, and that's exactly what I intend to do. For pick number 2 here, we're rocking with the over. Pick number 3, I talked about Darius Garland returning from injury. Another guy that's returning from injuries, Evan Mobley. Once again, we're going to start to see his minutes ramp up, right? Last game we were on his under. He was still on a minutes limit. Now, should see his minutes start to ramp up once again. He returned the game before Darius Garland. He played 21 minutes on January 29th, 22 on the 31st. He's up to 24 minutes on February 3rd. So we're going to start to see these ramp up. He's a guy that plays much more minutes than that traditionally on the season. We look at the entire team here as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers in minutes per game. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, both playing 32.2, 32.5 minutes per game, right? So these are guys that are going to play in like the low to mid 30s typically. It's just they're working their way back from injury. So we're going to start to see these minutes climb. We want to take advantage. I think now is the perfect night to take advantage. Look at this game environment. The total, man, at 235 over under, massive total. Game should fly, and it's expected to stay close. 115.25 implied total for the Kings, 119.75 implied total for the Cavs. It's a perfect storm to be attacking. And then we look at Evan Mobley's fantasy point per minute production on the season. It's fantastic. Evan Mobley putting up 1.117 fantasy points per game in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format. So if he plays, in the mid-20s in minutes, let's say, he's going to be putting up like 30 fantasy points. And Prizepicks has him only set at 26.5. So I definitely want to be taking advantage of his fantasy score prop here tonight. I think this is too low. As far as my latest projection on Evan Mobley, guys, once again, my projections factor in like all this stuff, the projected minutes. So we know he's limited, but Sacramento's giving up over 35 fantasy points per game to opposing power forward starters. They're giving up over 6 field goals per game. It's a really great matchup as well. And it's a pace-up game for them, which in pace-up games on the season, Evan Mobley's averaging in the upper 30s. Now, obviously, this is factoring in like when he wasn't on a minutes limit, but this is too low. Attack the line while we can get it at 26.5. All right, guys? I think he crushes this tonight, especially in this type of game environment. Game should fly. A lot of possessions, even if he's limited, that's going to give him a lot of opportunity to display that 1.17 fantasy point per minute production. All right, guys? So that's fantastic. Stephen Curry, the next guy I'd like to discuss, I have him projected way over. This is a guy that's putting up 1.24 fantasy points per minute on the season. We look at the latest trends for the Golden State Warriors and their minutes per game. We're talking about like 40 minutes in competitive games here for Stephen Curry, right? 41 last time against Atlanta, 32 against Memphis, but that game ended 121-101. So we're talking blowout, 35, 43, 36. So he's going to play in upper 30s into the 40s. Look at this game environment, guys. We're talking about a 237.5 over-under. It's expected to fly. So my next 2 picks are going to be coming from this game. I like Stephen Curry's fantasy score, and I like his teammate in Draymond Green's assists. We look at the potential assists per game on this Golden State Warriors team. Draymond Green trails only Chris Paul, potential assists per game. Chris Paul 14, Draymond 10. But the thing is, there is no Chris Paul right now. He's on the shelf. He's injured, right? So Chris Paul is going to be out, and Andrew Wiggins is going to be out. That should be putting the ball in Draymond Green's hands more frequently. And when the ball is in Draymond Green's hands, what is he doing? He's distributing the basketball. He's passing it a lot. 10 potential assists. All it's going to come down to, obviously, is his teammates knocking down the shots. But 15.2 assist points created per game, pretty solid. And the Golden State Warriors have some shooters around him. Let's be honest. Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, they've been playing together forever. I think we know this. But if they can just get the ball in their hands, 117.75 implied team total for the Warriors. A lot of points. A lot of those should be able to come from Draymond Green. Lastly, we pull up. Once again, we'll look at the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Let's see what they're telling us for this prop. For Mr. Draymond Green. Well, let's put in Draymond because we got multiple greens on the slate. His best prop on the entire board is his under fantasy. They're saying I would disagree with that. I do have him projected to go over his fantasy. One thing I will say, I always want to look at this optimizer on fantasy score props, so because a lot of people use this and they have a lot of impact on the market. So if they like an under on a guy, he might get bumped down and I might be able to lock it in later. For the sake of this video, we're going to have to lock in now because I'm releasing it and helping you guys out, and I got to get this video out. But you can see, once again, juice across the industry as far as sports books on the over 6.5. Flip has it minus 145 on the over. We got Bovada here with minus 135, 127 on Bet Online, 133 on Caesars, 135 on BetMGM, 135 on DraftKings. Every single one of these books is favoring his over 6.5 assists. We once again pull up the odds jam screen so we can pull up even more market data. We want as many market points as we can possibly get, guys, right? So looking at Daily Grind Fantasy, we're looking at odds jam, we're looking at all these sports books, we're looking at every single prop on the board for every single player. And once again, I should type in Draymond so we can see his strictly. We are looking across the industry at, on average, minus 129.9 average odds on the over 6.5 assists. We're seeing all the markets change in real time. And the thing is, we're getting minus 119 implied odds per individual leg on Prizepicks in a 6-pick flex entry, right? So I pull that up on my Discord. We want to be getting props on. We want to be getting action on props that are favored more than minus 119. If they're not favored more than minus 119, you definitely don't want to be taking them. Obviously, we want to be getting like props that are like minus 200, right? The more favored, the better. I'm just saying minus 119 implied odds. If you're getting worse than that, it's foolish to place it on Prizepicks in a 5 or 6 pick flex because you can just go to a sports book where you can get, let's say like minus 110. So why are we going to take it in a 5 or 6 pick flex on Prizepicks when we can just go place it on a sports book and risk less on implied odds on the prop, right? For Draymond Green, just discussed it, but we're looking at an average of minus 129 across all of these sports books. I got 179 sports books selected, pulling in data, and it is telling us on average across all of those, we got minus 129 on the over, right? So no Andrew Wiggins, no Chris Paul, more usage, great game environment. That's all factored into the odds, but we do want to be looking at the sports books, make sure we're getting props that are favored, right? Be foolish not to. So those are going to be our next two guys. In our slip, we like the Stephen Curry fantasy score. We like the Draymond Green fantasy score. I'm sorry, the Draymond Green assists, I should say. And lastly, Cameron Johnson over 7.5 rebounds and assists. Another thing that I always mention is you want to be line shopping, right? If we go over to Underdog Fantasy, I always talk about this, but if you see that a line's bumped on Underdog, there's a good chance that the market's telling us that's favored. We look at Underdog Fantasy, they have bumped Cameron Johnson's rebounds and assists up to 8.0. We can no longer get it over there, right? So Prizepicks still at 7.5. Let's go ahead and take advantage on Prizepicks. And lastly, let's pull up the market data, right? What is it telling us on his rebounds and assists across the entire market, right? What is this telling us on Cameron Johnson? You can see the best possible place that we can place this is on Prizepicks. The best possible odds are on Prizepicks in a 5 or 6 pick flex at minus 119 implied odds. Across the market, on average, we're looking at minus 131.1 average odds. He's favored 125 on FanDuel, 135 on BetMGM, 131 on Caesars, 130 on DraftKings Sportsbook, 131 on Caesars in Ontario. Like, you get the point. Hot streak, it looks like he's getting favored even more right now, minus 135. So every single one of these apps, every single one of these data points is telling us that we should be locking in the over in a 5 or 6 pick flex on Prizepicks on Cameron Johnson's rebounds and assists. So that'll be our 6th leg, and that will be our entire 6-pick flex. Okay, guys, so I already locked this in myself. Already sent it into my VIP. Quick rundown on the picks. Well, first of all, I'll just put up on my screen here to prove that I locked it in, but you will never see me promote a play on this channel that I'm not playing myself, guys, all right? Every single play that I am promoting, I am backing myself. So this is the 6-pick slip. We got De'Aaron Fox over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We got Darius Garland over 13.5 points. Evan Mobley over 26.5 fantasy score. Stephen Curry over 42.5 fantasy score. Draymond Green over 6.5 assists. And Cameron Johnson over 7.5 rebounds and assists. Should these props get bumped, because I am pre-recording this video today and you can't lock it in, I also do have them all projected over for fantasy scores. So if Prizepicks lets me lock in their fantasy scores, we'll go ahead and back the plays with the fantasy scores as well. And then like I said, if you want access to every single one of my tickets as soon as I place them, guys, the Patreon is going to be where it's at. That's going to be linked below in the description. It's on Patreon. You're going to sign up. You're going to get access to every single one of my tickets as soon as I place them. And then to prove to you guys that I sent this in, and I mean, I would hope you believe me. I just pulled up my own accounts that I placed it, but you can see I'm going to send it in the chat, tell you how many units we're putting. A lot of times they're going to be 1 unit plays. So whatever you typically play. If you play like $5, put $5 on this. If you play $10, put $10 on this. I can only put up to $40 now on my 6-pick flexes. Prizepicks has limited my account to where that's what they're going to let me place. So I put $40. They are letting me win up to $5,000 per athlete still. So I'll take it while I can. I've seen some people limited worse than myself. So I'll just take it. And let's lock in the fantasy scores as well is the point. So I'm going to put that there's 2 6-pick flexes in the title of this video. And let's do a side-by-side here. What are we doing? We're doing Fox, Garland, Mobley. Fox, Garland. And once again, I do have all these guys projected over, right? So we're not just... I prefer the props we just discussed. But if they get bumped, I want you guys to have an alternative slip, and I want to back it with my own money to make sure that I'm backing my plays. I don't want to ever give a play that I'm not playing myself. Curry, Draymond next. Curry, Draymond, and lastly is Cameron Johnson, 27. So for the second 6-pick flex, we're going to take all the same guys we discussed. We're going to take their fantasy scores, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if they'll let me place it, like if I try to place more than 40, it's going to tell me you can only win $1,000 per athlete. If I try to do my 400 to win 10,000. Well, Darius Garland just got bumped. So I still haven't projected way over. We're going to lock it in. But point being, I can't lock this in. It's going to say, it says max entry is $200. And then I put in $200. It won't let me do that either. So why is it telling me that? Maximum is 1,000. And it lets me win more than that. So whatever. But anyways, this will be our last slip for the video today. Oops. Fantasy scores. So we got slip number 1's my favorite. Try to get this in if you can. It's just if the bumps occur, you could always just mix and match. Like if let's say Cam Johnson's rebounds and assists gets bumped, but Draymond Green's assist doesn't get bumped, you could just put in Cameron Johnson's fantasy score and then run the rest of the slip. But for the sake of backing the plays, I'm going to run this one as well with you guys today. We're rocking with the over 40 fantasy score for Fox, over 26.5 fantasy score for Evan Mobley, over 42.5 fantasy score for Draymond Green, over 27 fantasy score for Cameron Johnson, and over 25.5 fantasy score for Darius Garland. I will say again, I do prefer slip number 1. It's just if these get bumped, the value will be taken out of those props, the non-fantasy score props. So I want to be able to give you guys 2 so you can pivot in the event of bumps. So that's all for me. Wishing you guys all the best of luck on your Prizepicks NBA player props tonight. For those of you that are listening all the way through, I didn't even mention this. If you want a live stream, let's get this thing up to, we haven't hit 150 likes on one of my videos in a minute. If we get this thing up to 150 likes by I'm on the East Coast by 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, I'll do a live stream today. If not, I'll just do this pre-recorded one with these tickets, and you can lock them in. Your other option is the VIP. If you would like to join over there, would love to have you join. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks NBA player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.